The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components' location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Sandy Fire District 72, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35110. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the bumper face on the passenger and driver side, dual air horns. Just inside of that location on the passenger side, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Located directly in the center, you'll find your unit identifier E372. Moving to the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren on the bumper face. Underneath the vehicle, you'll find 2 tow hooks attached to the frame rail. Moving up to the bumper extension, you'll find a swivel discharge. Also behind the D-handle is where you'll find your hose storage location inside the bumper area. Moving up onto the cab, you'll find turn indicator and marker light on the outside edge. Just inside of that location, headlight structure housing low and high beam headlight, emergency warning light bezel just above that, and grab handles located on the front just under the front windshield. You'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the outer edges, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. As we move up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 clearance lights across the top. Directly in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. And as we move up onto the roof of the vehicle, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Nestled inside the light bar, you'll find your opticom. On the outer edges, you'll find 2 forward-facing, slightly angled floodlights. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, starting with the front bumper hose storage location. Dry deck material inside. D-handle gains you access to the top cover. As we move now to the side of the vehicle, let's focus in on the cab area, starting first with the front axle with a sight gauge located in the wheel. As we move to the front bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Onto the A-pillar, where you'll find your auto-eject shoreline inlet, which is 20 amp, and also an air inlet. As we move upward from this on the A-pillar, you'll find your marker turn indicator light. And then as we move to the doors, you'll find easily accessible with the gloved hand, your door latch, which is also keyed. Right next to that, you'll find the grab handle for getting access in and out of the cab for firefighter safety. As we move from this location directly up over the axle, you're going to find a side-facing cab scene light. And as we move to the rear wall, you'll find your LED water tank level indicator. Let's take a look at that front A-pillar. This is going to be your shoreline inlet, auto eject, 20 amp, and air inlet. As we move just inside the cab area into the driver's space, let's start first with the door panel, which houses all of our safety and warning information. We also have a latch and lock. As you move upward from this location, you'll find manual window control and also a grab handle. Let's move to the floor level, where you'll find your battery voltage charger. When plugged into shore power, this will be active. As we move to about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard. This is a placard manufactured for your department from Pierce, indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of the components, fluid capacities, and also fluid types. Let's move to the floorboard, where you'll find first on the left your front floodlight. Moving just up at about the left knee of the operator, you'll find your master battery switch, and then to the right you'll find your engine, transmission, ABS, J1939 diagnostic port. As we move down, you'll find your off-road traction, ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit. As we move to the dash on the left, you'll find your start and ignition switch. Just inside of that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all of your emergency lights. Headlight switch, next to it a panel switch which allows you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. On the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. Moving up to the dash, you'll find your transmission, oil, def level, and water temperature. On the opposite side, you're going to find front and rear air, fuel, and volts. Located directly in the center, tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's move just to the left of the dash area. We'll first start with the yellow diamond, which is pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. We'll move now up to the set of switches at the very top of the console. We'll first start with the rocker switches, which is your engine brake on and off, setting switch for your engine brake for low, medium, and high, stationary OK to pump and roll indicator, water pump, foam system, and mirror heat. Let's move downward to the next set of rocker switches, where you'll find first the front flood, driver side alley light, driver flood, passenger side alley light, passenger side flood, and rear scene. Just to the right, you'll find window control, push for windshield wiper fluid. As we move further down, you'll find the load manager, regen inhibit, which is the red switch, and also perimeter lights. As we move further down, once again, system parking brake is the yellow diamond. Further to the right is your Allison transmission pad, digital readout with an informational placard, pump in neutral. As we move further down, you'll find flat and convex mirror controls for the passenger and driver side. Climate control located directly in the center for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Let's go ahead and move overhead of the operator's head, first with this placard, height 10 feet, 1.73 inches, length 31 feet, 4.8 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 48,000 pounds. Let's take a look at the next set of switches. We'll first start in the upper left-hand corner with the emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. When any of these switches have been activated, the light will illuminate within the switch. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find your Opticom, high beam flash, electronic siren switch, siren horn, and siren brake, which is in red for your mechanical siren. Let's stay on the same plane, move slightly to the right. First, starting with your digital readout for pump pressure, water tank level indicator, and a foam tank level indicator. Directly in the center, seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green, they're in the seat and belted. In the center, you'll also find this light illuminating, do not move your apparatus when light is on, indicating you have an open door or compartment. Let's go ahead and move now to the driver's seat directly behind. You do have some outlets located here. These are active when plugged into shore power. When plugged into shore power, your battery charger will activate and maintain batteries for your vehicle. You'll also find shoreline outlets, 20 amp located behind the officer seat and driver's seat. Let's go ahead and now go exterior behind the driver's seat. You'll find a compartment, exterior access. Moving now to the rear cab area. First, let's start with the door panel. When you access the door, you'll find all of our safety and warning information, manual window control, and also lock and latch located above. There are 3 seats located across the rear wall, 2 fold-down seats on the outer edges, and 1 forward-facing seat. Directly behind the officer and driver seat, you'll find these top-mounted cabinets also. Let's go ahead and move now down to the rear section of the engine. Lift and turn latch will gain you access to your daily checks for oil and transmission. And then let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the rear wall with the seat configuration. You can see the 2 outer edge fold downs and a center mounted seat. General view here of the side of the apparatus with the compartment doors open. Let's go ahead and take a look inside some of the compartments. First, starting directly behind the cab at the very top, this is your 2.5 inch discharge. As we move downward, we'll find 2.5 inch discharges located in the lower section. You'll also find this warning label, entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. Also, the latch located here in the center will release those cross lays so that the center dividers can be removed. As we move to the notch area, you'll find 2 2.5 inch discharges located on the driver's side. You'll also find this warning label regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening.
In the center, you'll find the Pierce American Flag Eagle large diameter pump intake. And as we move to the right, you'll find an additional warning label here regarding fall. If climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Right next to that, you'll find your foam fill operations lever. And then just beneath that, you'll find a warning label regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. As we move down, you'll find the 2.5-inch ball valve female inlet. This is an auxiliary inlet. And at the very bottom, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's go ahead and move to the next compartment, where we'll start at the very top section. This is the pump panel area. When we start at the top, when your pump is properly engaged, you'll find the OK to pump LED indicator at the very top illuminating. As we move down to the left, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll go over that plaque in just a few minutes. And underneath that, you'll find another plaque warning only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment only after they received proper training. To the right, you'll find the green module, which is your foam Class A tank. And then further to the right in the gray module, you'll find your master intake gauge. On the opposite side, you'll find your master discharge gauge. Between the two of those, you're going to find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged. These are for testing purposes. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find your PCM fault indicator, and also underneath that, an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does allow you to dampen the sound by simply rotating. Let's move further down onto the pump panel. We'll identify all of our discharges located in the upper portion. They are color-coded and labeled and also indicate whether they are foam capable. To the right, you'll find your throttle pressure governor. Inside that pressure governor, you'll find a blue module. This is your water tank level indicator. Let's move further down, where you'll find your Husky 3 control module. It's the red module in the upper left. As we move to the right, you'll find your intake relief valve. There are instructions for the operation on the placard. Moving further to the right, you'll find your primer for the rear intake and also valve electric inlet and close. Moving to the right, you'll find your fire pump primer. It is an auto prime. It does have the ability to turn off or prime. As you move down, you'll find your left side primer. These are all three air prime devices. And at the very bottom section, because the passenger side has two electronic valves, these are the two modules that control those. Moving to the right, you'll find the two discharges, passenger rear discharge and also deluge discharge. In the upper corner was the reel rewind. As we move down to the bottom, you'll find these two placards, Husky Foam System 3 specifications and instructions. To the right, you'll find your primer drain. And then also further to the right, you'll find a pan door. We'll go over that in just a moment, what's behind it. And at the very bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's go ahead and take a look behind the pan door at the very bottom of the pump panel, where you'll find your foam operations. The yellow handle matches the instructions on the placard of the door. At the very bottom, you'll find your emergency override. This is for your pump. As we move to the vertical wall, you'll find LED lighting and also air horn switches. Let's go back to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 test pressures. On the left, you'll find the GPM associated with that test pressure. On the right, the RPM associated with that test pressure. And the job number in the very center, 35110. Within this same compartment in the upper corner, you'll find a shoreline outlet. This is a 20 amp plug. Let's go to the exterior now, where you'll find a cutout for your hose reel. And as we move into the compartments, first in front of the axle, you'll find the blue def cap. As we move to the rear, you'll find your silver ultra low sulfur diesel. In front of the axle, you'll find two SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps. And as we move to the very center, directly over the axle, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Up into the next compartment, you'll find D-handle gains you access to the back side of the tool board. Let's take a look at some close-ups. First, the blue def cap. This is a 4.5 US gallon capacity. As we move to the right, you'll find the silver ultra low sulfur diesel fill. It is the silver cap. As we move to the upper section, when the tool board is in the open position, the release mechanism will allow you to restore it back from its locked position. In the same compartment, you'll find shoreline outlet, once again 20 amp. As we move to the rear compartment, you'll find at the very bottom your folding wheel chocks. As we move inside the compartment, you'll find shoreline outlet. Let's now move to the rear of the apparatus. We'll start at the very bottom section in the center. This is a pull-out step. Moving just to the right and also on the left rear, you'll find brake, turn, and reverse lights. You'll also find 4 emergency warning lights, upper and lower. Now let's go ahead and take a look with the ladder deployed and also the rear compartment in the open position. At the very top of the ladder is where your hose storage location for your drafting hoses are located. To the right upper corner is where you're going to find long-handled tool storage and a 10-foot folding attic ladder. As we move down the next compartment with the D handle, this is going to be your ladder storage area. Let's take a look at the hose storage location for your drafting tubes. We'll move down now to the warning labels. Fall, always face the vehicle when climbing on it, and make sure that you do not ride on the vehicle while it is in motion. Let's take a look at the ladder. We do have some pinch indicators located here. And now to the very center area, you'll find the 2 discharges located here. You'll also find some additional warning labels. Pressure hazard warning, caps may be under pressure, be cautious when opening them. Also an entanglement warning. Because of those lines coming from a loft, there is the possibility of an entanglement. As we move down to the very bottom section with the rear compartment doors open, dry deck material, bottom tray, and adjustable shelf in the upper portion. Let's go ahead and go back up now to the ladder storage location. You have a 10-foot folding ladder and then also long-handled tool storage. Just beneath this area, you'll find ladders, 24-foot extension, and a 14-foot roof. As we move down to the very bottom, you'll find your rear inlet. General view here of the side of the vehicle. Compartments are in the open position. Let's start at the very rear compartment. As we look inside this compartment, you'll find at the top section an outlet, and at the bottom section underneath your rear inlet air bleeder. Let's go back up and take a look at the close-up of the outlet. Once again, Shoreline outlet, 20 amp. Let's move forward to this location where you'll find in front of and rear of SCBA bottle storage locations. At the very top section, adjustable shelf and also Shoreline outlet. Here's the close-up of the upper portion with the outlet. As we move down, let's take a look with the doors in the open position. You have 2 SCBA bottles here with retaining straps and an oxygen bottle. As we move forward, you'll find 3 SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps. As we move downward, you'll find your exhaust. There is a warning here, extremely hot temperatures, especially during regen operations. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. Let's move forward to this location to the next compartment. Dry deck material on the bottom, adjustable shelves, and in the upper portion, we do have also a 20 amp outlet. There's also an additional plug in this compartment down in the lower section on the rear vertical or on the side vertical side sheet. Let's go ahead and move now to the upper portion. Same configuration as you have on the driver's side, 2.5 at the very top, 2 1.5 discharges at the very bottom section. We'll take a look at some close-ups. First, the upper section, which was the 2.5-inch section, and then we'll move down to the lower portion notch. This is the 2.5-inch release mechanism on the front face. As we move downward, we'll find the 2 1.5 discharges, also a warning regarding entanglement hazard, and also the release mechanism to remove the crosslays. Underneath the pump panel area, you'll find your rear inlet drain. This is the lowest portion in the plumbing. As we move now to the notch area, first in the upper left-hand corner is your cab lift. Make sure you secure all items within the cab, and also instructions to raise and to lower. Down below that, you'll find a warning label here regarding always facing the vehicle when climbing. As we move to the right, the Pierce American Flag Eagle large diameter pump intake. We also have an additional warning here regarding pressure hazard. Caps, once again, may be under pressure. This is a 2.5-inch discharge, which is controlled by an electric valve. Therefore, there is an override associated with it. As you move downward, you'll find your 2.5-inch auxiliary passenger side inlet. This is a ball valve female coupling. You'll also find your large diameter discharge. Because this is an electronic valve, there is also an override. And at the very bottom section, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's go ahead and move forward now to the cab area. We'll go inside on the passenger side cab. Let's first start at the door panel where we have all of our safety and warning information. You'll also find manual window control, latch and lock, and also grab handle. General view inside the cab area at the upper portion, you'll find an additional storage location. On each side of the compartments, you'll also find USB 12-volt access. We're now just in front of the cab door. Exterior access only. We'll now move to the front officer space. Let's start with the door panel, all of our safety and warning information, door lock, latch, manual window controls, and a grab handle. General view over the head of the officer space, push on and off white or red lenses. As we move to the modules, this is your AM/FM weather band Sirius XM CD player. As we move to the switches, you'll find front flood, driver side alley light, driver flood, passenger side alley light, passenger side flood, and rear scene light. Let's move just to the right where you'll find an additional module for your siren control and also PA speaker system. As we move downward just to the left of the officer's seat, you'll find your mechanical siren, air horn, siren brake in red, and also perimeter lights. Moving just forward of this location, you'll find 12-volt power via USB style. As we move down to the officer's space in front of the knee, you'll find your electrical access panel. And then to the right onto the A-pillar, this is the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Let's look directly behind the seat here where you'll find 12-volt access via bus bar, and then also you'll find, once again, shore power outlet. When plugged into shore power, this will become active. Let's move to the top of the vehicle of the cab. We do have some warning information here. This is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have affixed these labels here regarding that for a warning. As we move now to the dunnage area, master stream located directly in the center. As we move to the forward section of the dunnage, you'll find your Husky 3 foam module, and then also at the base of that, a fill location for the hydraulic fluid. Booster line located on the driver's side. As we look to the booster line also, you'll find at the very top section, this is the manual rewind location and also a free tension spool knob. Let's go ahead and look now at the Husky 3 foam reservoir. This is the fill location for that foam reservoir for hydraulic oil. Let's move further to the rear of the dunnage area where you'll find your top fill for your water tank fill and also top fill for your foam tank. This is the water tank fill location. You'll also find the foam fill does have a latch and also a warning label on it indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies for the possibility of foam failure. As we move to the hose bed area, you'll find these yellow diamonds indicating the safe walking area for firefighters. Let's go ahead and take a look with the cover in the open position. You'll find 2 hose bed dividers located at the rear. A couple of general photos here, side of the vehicle, passenger side. Also the front cab area, same configuration as the driver's side. Congratulations, Sandy Fire District 72, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35110. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.